The warning beacon had been screaming for 17 hours straight. Restricted zone, Class Omega, no entry under any circumstance, violation punishable by immediate termination of citizenship and life support. Captain Rowan Voss ignored it the same way he'd ignored every other red flag in his career, by turning the volume down to a tolerable background whine and focusing on the nav screen instead. His ship, the Calypso Dawn, was a 30-year-old survey corvette patched together with equal parts ingenuity and spite. She wasn't pretty, but she was stubborn, and right now she was bleeding atmosphere from a micrometeor puncture while limping toward the only habitable signature within 30 light minutes, a trinary system officially designated TRS-47, unofficially called the Triple Suns by the few spacers crazy enough to whisper its name. Rowan had come here because he had nowhere else left to go. The United Terran Coalition had declared him persona non grata after the incident at Vega Relay. He'd refused a direct order to fire on a refugee convoy that, according to intel, was carrying bioweapons. Turned out the intel was wrong, the convoy was just desperate families, and the brass needed a scapegoat. So they hung the whole mess on him, stripped his command privileges, froze his accounts, and broadcast his face across every coalition channel with the helpful tagline, "Traitor." He could have run to the outer reaches like most disgraced officers. Instead he pointed the Calypso toward the one place no one would follow, the Forbidden Veil. A spherical region of space roughly 80 light-years across, marked on every chart in blood-red hexagons. Inside it lay a handful of systems the Coalition claimed were under permanent ecological quarantine. Everyone knew the real reason: something lived there that the brass didn't want to share, or fight. Rowan had always been good at finding things people wanted hidden. The Calypso dropped out of Alcubierre transit with a bone-rattling shudder. Warning klaxons wailed as 3 blinding suns filled the forward viewport, one gold-white, one deep amber, one pale violet. Their light braided together in impossible ways, painting the cockpit in shifting auroras. Rowan killed the alarms with a slap and ran a passive scan. One major planetary body. Class M gravity, oxygen-nitrogen atmosphere, liquid surface water. Biosignatures off the chart. No orbital installations, no defense grid, no artificial EM emissions. Just one very large, very green world hanging in the sweet spot between the 3 suns. He named it EOS on the spot. Dawn. New beginning. Fitting. The Calypso had maybe 40 hours of breathable air left before the recycler failed completely. He had no choice. He angled for atmospheric entry. The descent was smoother than expected. No turbulence, no thermal spikes. The atmosphere parted around the hull like water around a finger. Rowan watched the altimeter drop while triple sunlight flooded the cabin in honeyed warmth. He touched down on a wide savanna of knee-high silver grass that rippled like liquid metal. The landing gear hissed as it settled. Silence followed, deep, expectant silence. Rowan unstrapped, checked his sidearm, plasma pistol, half charge, grabbed the emergency medkit and a handheld recorder, and popped the hatch. The air that rushed in smelled of citrus and ozone and something sweeter he couldn't name. He stepped out. And froze. They were already there. At first he thought the silver grass was moving on its own. Then he realized the movement was coming from figures rising out of it, dozens, maybe hundreds, silent as ghosts. They were tall. Taller than any human woman he'd ever seen, averaging 2.2 meters, slender but powerfully built, skin the color of burnished bronze that caught and refracted the triple light in subtle rainbow sheens. Their hair flowed like living fiber optics, shifting hues with every tilt of their heads, amethyst to rose gold to deep indigo. Eyes enormous, pupils vertical slits like a feline's, irises swirling with colors that matched their hair. No clothing in the human sense, just flowing bands of translucent material that seemed grown rather than woven, clinging and shifting like liquid glass over lithe muscle. None of them spoke. They simply watched. Rowan's hand hovered near his pistol, then slowly moved away. Something in their posture, open palms, heads slightly tilted, said threat wasn't the first thing on their minds. Curiosity was. He raised both hands slowly, palms out. "I come in peace," he said, feeling immediately ridiculous. The line was older than spaceflight. One of them, the tallest, hair currently cycling through shades of twilight, stepped forward. She moved with liquid grace, each footfall silent on the silver grass. When she was 5 meters away, she stopped and regarded him the way one might regard an unexpected sculpture. Then she spoke. Not in sound. In his head. "You are small," the voice said, clear and musical, carrying an undertone of wonder. "And yet you crossed the veil." Rowan blinked. "Telepathy. Of course. I'm Rowan Voss," he answered aloud, hoping volume didn't matter. "My ship is damaged. I needed a place to land." The group shifted slightly, a ripple of color through their hair. Several exchanged glances. "Many have come before," the leader sent. "None have left." Rowan felt ice slide down his spine. "Are you going to kill me?" A long pause. Then amusement, bright and startling, brushed against his mind. "If we wished you dead, you would already be dust. We are the Irani. This is Irath. You stand on sacred soil." She took another step closer. The others followed, forming a loose semicircle. Rowan counted at least 60 now, maybe more, emerging from the grass in every direction. Every single one of them was staring. Not with hostility. With fascination. They studied his uniform patches, his scarred boots, the stubble on his jaw, the faint lines around his eyes, the way his chest rose and fell with each breath. One reached out, hesitant, and brushed a fingertip along the sleeve of his flight jacket, as though testing whether cloth felt the same as their own living garments. Rowan held very still. The leader tilted her head. "You are male." It wasn't a question. Rowan swallowed. "Last time I checked." A wave of something like delighted surprise rolled through the group. Hair flared brighter. Soft sounds, half laughter, half song, escaped several throats. "We have not seen a living male of any sapient species in 700 cycles," the leader sent. "Our archives hold only simulations. You are real." Rowan exhaled slowly. "That explains the staring." "We did not expect a human," another voice joined, younger, more excited. The old song spoke of small walkers from a single sun world. "We thought the myth." "I get that a lot," Rowan muttered. The leader raised a hand. The group quieted instantly. "I am Sirith, first speaker of the third bloom. You will come with us. We will repair your vessel. In return, you will answer our questions." Rowan glanced back at the Calypso. A thin trail of vapor still leaked from the hull breach. He had no leverage and no real alternative. Lead the way. They did not walk him to a city. They walked him into the grass itself. The silver blades parted like water, revealing descending ramps of living crystal that spiraled downward into the earth. Bioluminescent vines lit the way. The air grew warmer, richer with that same sweet scent. They descended for nearly 20 minutes. When the passage finally opened, Rowan's breath caught. An enormous cavern stretched before him, kilometers wide, ceiling lost in soft violet glow. Floating islands of crystal and soil drifted lazily above a central lake that reflected all three suns through translucent rock. Gardens cascaded down the walls in tiers of impossible color. Structures that looked grown rather than built curved gracefully between the islands, connected by living bridges of vine and light. And everywhere, Irani women. Thousands. All watching him. Sirith led him across a swaying bridge to the largest central island. A pavilion waited there, open on all sides, floor a mosaic of glowing stone. Cushions of woven fiber invited him to sit. He did. They did not. They gathered in widening rings, sitting, kneeling, standing, until the pavilion was surrounded 3 deep. Sirith settled across from him. "Tell us of your world," she sent. "Tell us of males. Tell us why you came alone." Rowan talked. He told them about Earth, oceans, cities, forests long since tamed. He told them about humanity's messy history, wars, art, love, betrayal. He told them about men and women, about families, about children born of 2 parents instead of 1. He explained the coalition, the exile, the desperate jump that brought him here. They listened without interruption. When he finished, silence held for a long minute. Then questions came, not one at a time, but in a gentle overlapping chorus. "Do your males sing? Do they weep without shame? How do you choose mates when both carry the seed? What does fear taste like to a male? Have you ever killed for love?" Rowan answered as best he could. Hours passed. The triple sunlight shifted through the cavern roof in slow, hypnotic patterns. Food appeared, fruits that tasted like sunlight and honey, water that sparkled on the tongue. No one threatened him. No one restrained him. They simply wanted to know. Eventually exhaustion caught up. His voice cracked. Sirith raised a hand. Rest, she sent. Your ship is already being healed. The grassweavers mend metal as easily as flesh. Rowan looked up sharply. You can fix her? We can fix anything that lives, one of the younger ones sent proudly. Your ship lives, in its way. He slept on the cushions under the watchful eyes of 100 Irani. When he woke, the Calypso sat on the surface again, hull pristine, breach gone, even the paint scratches smoothed away. Sirith waited beside him as he walked the hull, running his fingers over the impossible repairs. You may leave whenever you wish, she said. But we ask one thing before you go. Rowan turned. Name it. Stay one cycle. Teach us. He raised an eyebrow. Teach you what? How to be two, she sent softly. We are one. Always one. Our young are born of the bloom, mind to mind, no body required. We have no males because we never needed them. But now, she touched her chest, over her heart. Now we feel an absence we did not know existed. Rowan looked out across the savannah. Silver grass waved under triple suns. Irani moved among the stalks, some tending crystal gardens, some dancing in slow spirals, all of them glancing toward him with that same quiet fascination. He thought of the coalition arrest warrant still hanging over his head. He thought of the empty bunkroom on the Calypso. He thought of the way Sirith's voice had softened when she spoke of absence. I'll stay one cycle, he said. But I'm not promising anything more than stories. Sirith's hair flared rose gold. Stories are enough. The cycle lasted 4 Earth months. He taught them card games, bad jokes, how to whistle. They taught him how to feel colors, how to sing without sound, how to weave light into temporary sculptures. They never touched him unless he offered his hand first. But every night, hundreds gathered around the pavilion to listen. He told them about Shakespeare, about jazz, about the first moon landing, about heartbreak that didn't kill you but changed you forever. They listened like people who had been starving without knowing it. On the last day of the cycle, Sirith walked with him back to the Calypso. The ship was fully fueled, stocked with provisions that tasted better than anything he'd ever eaten, hull gleaming like new. You are leaving, she sent. Not a question. I have to, Rowan said. There are things out there I still need to settle. She nodded slowly. Will you return? He looked at the 3 suns, at the silver savannah, at the faces watching from every direction, curious still, but now something warmer lived in their eyes. Yeah, he said. I think I will. Sirith stepped closer. For the first time, she touched his cheek, gentle, almost reverent. Then we will wait, she sent. And we will remember your name. Rowan climbed the ramp. Before the hatch closed he turned back. Sirith? Yes. Next time, maybe bring fewer stairs. A guy can only handle so much fascination. Her laughter echoed in his mind, bright, clear, delighted. The hatch sealed. The Calypso dawn rose into the triple light, turned toward the stars, and vanished into the veil. But those who watched from the silver grass knew, without doubt or fear, that the small walker from the single sun world would return. And when he did, they would be ready. Not to study him, but to meet him. As equals.